Hello and welcome, guys. This is your host Nicole Hanselman, and this is your platform Success Your Way movement. Welcome. Well, today we're going to talk about something interesting: benefits of women in our workplace, to our families at large, to our societies. We're going to talk about all that today, and I've got our guests ready. They're just ready to just dig on. So it will be interesting to learn together. As usual, I'll ask you for a favor. If it's your first time here, this is what we normally do. When we come on, we tag our friends and remind them that we're live. We'll tell them we're live so that they're aware and they don't miss out. So, yeah, welcome, guys. Today's topic: benefits of women in the workplace, working, and all that. And one interesting thing that we picked when I was asking people about the topic, what they thought of it, because it was a topic that was suggested by somebody as well. And something interesting that was coming up is the fact that should women be paid for looking after, the family, for being at home and being like housewives, all that house management thing. We do pay house managers, so what some people will call like opas, or some people might call house girl. We do pay them, but sometimes women take those roles. Should they be paid for being at home? Should it be like a maintenance thing, a security thing on a part, knowing that she sacrificed her work life for that? We'll be talking about that, and I'll be reading some of very interesting views from amazing women. I asked them that specifically that when that came up, but I thought, okay, let me hear what some other women think about it. Would you want to be paid? What do you think? And I will be sharing some of that. Welcome. Karibuni nyote. This is Nicole Hanselman. We've got our guests, Janemi and Kiria. If I pronounce the names wrong, they'll here and they'll introduce themselves. They'll tell us more. Karibuni. Karibu, Fred. Asante. Item number 2 is a tricky question following from Nairobi, Kenya. Karibu sana. No, Fred, unatangatanga. You're everywhere. All the best. And Fred, you can tell people what you're up to so that you might find a fan or two on here. So, Karibuni, tag your friends and tell them you're on. I'll invite our guests now. I'll invite our first guest. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my dear.
My name is Keria Maziora. I'm 21 years old. I'm a content creator and somebody that is passionate about discussing humanity and philosophy and just discovering more about the human connection and the human condition. So that's me. Yes.
Thank you. I think we'll learn more about you as we go ahead and as we get to the topic. Karibu. Mudiora.
Yes.
Mimi wanaenda kupronounce majina. Aki, I'm not terrible.
It's okay. It happens. It happens. Especially with my names. It's very common.
Karibu. And we have our next guest. Come on. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Karibu.
Thank you.
Yeah, you tell us about yourself as well, please.
Oh, okay. My name is Jenemy Obiny. I'm a psychologist by profession. I am passionate about mental health. I'm also a feminist. I'm also a full-time daughter to my mother. But yeah.
Ah, so you know what? Tell us a little bit about that, because when people hear that, they're like, okay, I don't want to hear anything you got to say. It's got a bad ring to it to some people. You want to tell us a little bit more on the positive thing about being a feminist.
Oh well, I feel like the problem with the feminist thing that it has a bad connotation to it is because it has
Mm,
been given most of the people advocating for feminism have rarely given the right definitions. So for
mm,
me, as a feminist, I
yeah.
advocate for equality amongst all genders
Mm-hmm.
and for choice.
Okay.
Yeah, I am pro-choice and I'm like if a woman wants to be this, they should be. And if they don't want to do that,
It's
they
up to
shouldn't
her.
be. Like that is what feminism or feminist being a feminist means to me. Choice and equality.
Choice and equality.
Yeah.
Nice, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So I don't know. Let's start with you, Kiria. When you heard about this topic, what went through your mind? What was going through your mind in general before we go deep into it? What was going through your mind?
Um, I was kind of excited. I love discussing topics surrounding women, just because there's so much there, and there's very little that actually gets talked about at great length. We're always kind of discussing sort of the big thing, you know. We're always sort of discussing sexism and misogyny, but we never like get down into the details. And I think that I know people say the devil is in the details, but I think the God is in the details. And I think when we really begin to have conversations about some of the smaller things, some of the more difficult things to navigate, I think once we start having conversations about that, then we can begin to see like actual change within our society. So yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you. I don't know whether it's just on my side, but your volume sounded a little bit low. Jeremy, did you hear her just fine?
Yeah, I
And I'm
did.
please.
I
But
will work
maybe
on
she
raising
could
my
darken
voice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I can hear you better, but her it was a little bit. I'm also hard of hearing, so I'm gonna increase my volume and see whether it was just on my side, the volume to my ears, so that we get on with it. So the first thing we want to talk about: should women be paid for being stay-at-home moms by their husbands, by the society, the government? Should women be paid? I don't know who wants to take that on.
Do you wanna go first?
You go first.
Okay. Um Simple answer, right? Surface level, simple answer, yes. Because if she wasn't doing that work, someone else would be paid to do so. So that's my simple surface level. We're not going any deeper than that answer. I'll let Jeremy answer, and then we can begin to like dive a bit deeper into the topic. But yeah, that would be my surface level answer. Yeah.
Yeah, and you, John.
Well, when you asked it, I was thinking about it in the capacity of there is so much work that is involved when a woman is a stay-at-home mom or
Mm-hmm,
just a housewife in general.
mm-hmm,
There is so much
mm-hmm.
because um, another video I watched said that a woman does not clock out when it's 5
No,
p.m. Like
who can?
the same way when a man goes to work, they, for instance, go from a 9 to 5. But
Mm-hmm.
the woman is a mother or a wife until everyone else goes to sleep, and they're early before anyone is awake.
Yeah,
So uh, why not? Because
why not?
they're basically doing the most.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know what? What's interesting is that sometimes you there are people who are in good relationship, they're happy, everything works out for them, and it's lifelong. But sometimes things go wrong. You know, things go wrong. So what happens to that mother who never had any income of her own? So she never had any savings on her own. Does she stay for the sake of the kids because she hasn't got anything at all in her name? Or what does she do? That's why I think we're having this conversation where should women be paid? People think it's her job.
Yeah, but they don't think it's the dad's job, do they? Do they think it's
Hmm.
the father's job? It's not, is it?
Yeah, people are
Yeah,
thinking she's the nurturer.
yeah,
Why should
exactly.
I pay her?
Yeah, let me say, if she's the nurturer, then the man should be the provider. He should pay her. Should provide the money.
So if we go back to our basic roles, like if you go to
Basic
school
gender
inside
roles,
the
yeah.
pay, then provide for us, and
Hmm.
then I look after the family.
Because I think that's also how people are viewing the conversation, right? They're
Mm,
just like, why should I pay a woman to take care of her children? That's another thing when they're like, oh, those are her children. I'm like, yeah, but they're also the fathers, but you don't expect the father to put the same amount of work in, right?
mm.
A dad that is taking the children out to play, but he's on his phone, that's a good dad. But if it was a mother, it would be a neglectful mother because she's not watching
Yeah,
her children. You see, there's that like difference. And so when people are talking about this, they're always looking at it from that like very basic gender roles perspective. So in order to have a proper conversation about it, you have to address the basic gender roles. So yeah, if you expect women to be the nurturer, be the provider.
you should be a provider. Go back to the basic roles.
If
Sorry,
that's
I'm
what
on my
you
phone
want.
because yeah, I've not tagged my friends. Sometimes they need to be tagged to be reminded that we are on, and I didn't manage to do that today. So that's why I'm trying to catch up on that. And whilst I try to tag some of my friends very quickly, I wanted to read a little bit of some of the comments that I had when I asked a group of amazing ladies what they thought about it. And as usual, when you ask a group of lovely women about something, you're not expecting the same answers. You have to be open minded to the different views and the different. Uh, okay, uh, okay, let's go to it. I'm maneuvering lots and lots of gadgets at the moment, so there we go. Okay, uh, so uh, the question was okay. So there's a project manager. Okay. Oh, the conversation went on and on. So I did tell them we'd really love your views, especially on whether women should be paid to stay at home and look after the family. Mpeleke comments huko and stuff like that. But they ended up just telling me here, Apo, do you know how much work stay-at-home moms do? That was the first question. They do babysitting, pick and drop kids from school, cook, do housekeeping, checking home, and giving parental guidance, then giving companionship to the partner. That can actually be calculated in financial terms based on global rates for such jobs duty.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
then there was another one. I remember while in school, mom would leave my mom school while in school. Mom would leave my mom at home, and she would do everything, including farm work. Where, but my dad had allowed her to take rent from the three SQs. Oh, that is really nice. We had so another question is how do you measure this work? Quantify it into monetary terms. Then who should pay for that? The government, your spouse, do we want recognition? What's that the big question? Actually, it's called unpaid work in the NGO world. Can we dig into that a little bit?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like what the first person said, where they were just like, like the amount of work this person does. Some people have multiple people to do that one job. Yeah, it's like I said earlier. If the stay at home mother wasn't doing it, then someone else would be doing it, and they would be paid to do it. So, yeah.
So Jan, who should be paying that for that? Who should be paying? Because somebody's asking. Then who should pay for that? The government, your spouse? Do you want recognition? What's the big question actually? It's called unpaid work in the NGO world.
Well, I feel like more so. Like it's like they say it's your kids, then you should be taking care of them. So for instance, from the basic level of the family, um if you decide we're gonna have kids and we're gonna take care of these kids,
Mm.
yeah, then because you forget that taking care of being a housewife is not just about the kids, it includes the husband as well, and probably his family, your family. So
Mm.
probably that is a responsibility of the man. And yes, every sector can play a role in it,
Mm.
because if the government says, for instance, like in Kenya, they passed the law of, what is it called, paternity leave.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
they they enforced it in the work industry that men should go for paternity leave and for this
Yeah.
amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then why not enforce the law of, if you decide that you want a housewife, then you should pay her. And
Mm.
because if it's then backed by the law, then no man feels the need that they should um, walk away. It's the same way. Like if men can sue their wives for conjugal rights, quote unquote, then
Uh-huh.
they should also give us the right to sue men if they're not
Mhm.
paying us for being housewives. That's just what I think.
Yeah, because we are fighting for equality, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel fair that if you look at, let's say, 20-year-olds, a 20-year-old man and a 20-year-old female, you'll find the 20-year-old man will be able to progress in their career very quickly because they don't have so much breaks in the middle. They don't have pregnancy breaks where they don't have childcare breaks. Who gets phoned at work when the child is sick? It will be the mom. It's really
Yeah.
the man, isn't it? So the
Mhm.
woman will miss out a lot. She will miss out during the pregnancy. She will miss out during looking after the children. She will miss out a lot. So by the time she comes back, the male counterparts are high up there. Yeah, high up there. She's not. There's nobody who can give her that time back. Even if you paid her, you can't give her that time back in experience terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that little benefit of giving women a little money, why would it hurt so much? Why? What are some of the benefits that we really need to talk about to enable people to see that it is maybe a good idea we should implement? Go on.
Okay.
I'll let Karia. Can you start? Always start first because looking at you
Um,
like go fast.
uh, I think some of the benefits that would come from that is the security with the woman.
The security.
She's secure, even as like she's raising the kids and everything like that. She's not quote unquote fully reliant on the husband.
Mm,
Um, and we've seen that a lot of times when that tends to happen, it makes it harder, for example, for people to leave abusive relationships. It makes it harder for you to leave if you've been cheated on, if something has happened, if your husband dies. There's so many situations where because the woman did not make any money or have any money of her own, she
mm,
gets screwed over by the government and
mm.
by sometimes the husband's family and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the biggest benefits is that it gives the woman security.
Mm,
And there's a statistic that says that the happiest types of women are women that are unmarried, like single women are
mm.
the happiest women. But I think that comes from the fact that they're secure. Like they're not taking care, they're not worried about, oh, where's my money coming from, or all this or all that,
Yeah.
because it's just them and they get to take care of themselves and they know that if I need to take care of me, I can.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously now when you're a mother, it's not just you you're thinking about other people, and I'm sure that that type of happiness is quantified differently. But there's also, especially if you're a housewife, a lack of security that comes with that.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the most important thing would be security, and also just kind of looking at how housewives have, since God knows how long, have been constantly screwed over by the people around them. Because what they're doing is considered like, yeah, you should be doing this anyway. And also, yeah, that sometimes people just take advantage of that. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
my answer.
Yeah, let me welcome some of the people who have just joined us. Guys, as usual, if you didn't like StreamYard, use your name, I would know who it is. So, Karibu, welcome, welcome. Karibu Hadija, welcome. We have our first comment there. We'll read it in a moment. Let's see, John, what are some of the benefits that we will get from this? From allowing women to at least have something of their own while the male go to work. They're not missing out on work, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that can make us feel like this is something we should consider as a community?
Well, I like something you said earlier about um, how we are left behind because of our predisposition as women, the things that we have to go through and the opportunities that we miss. And I remembered a quote that says that um, money can be printed, but nobody's going to print for you time or opportunity.
Mm,
So based on that, I feel like for me, one of the best thing that could come of housewives being paid is appreciation.
mm,
Because I feel like people appreciate what they pay for. If you
mm-hmm.
have to take time to pay for something, you appreciate it. Just like you appreciate if you go to a restaurant and they serve you food
Yeah.
and you don't like it, you're gonna get really angry. Like because you've paid your money for it. It's the same in that same regard. If a man has to feel like I am paying, let's say for I need to give my money this, my woman this, and for instance maybe he does not have that money, he might feel actually the need to be less of which not every man needs to be followed up on, but you find that some men, they'll get into the house and they put their legs on top of the table and they're like, I have a housewife, you get. But if they are paying for it and they need to give money, they'll be like, my budget is tighter this time. Let me try and do the dishes. Like, and because if I tell her I can't pay her, I'll be like, at least I've helped you with the load. And the
Yeah.
appreciation is not only just from the man, because
Mm,
I've learned that people learn from what you do, not what you tell them. So if, for instance, we have kids and they always see their father is putting their legs on the nini, the mother
okay.
is always
So far.
toiling. Yeah, the
Mm,
kids get to appreciate, okay,
mm.
this, my dad is also trying to chip in. And at the end of the month, dad gives mom this amount of money for the hard work that she puts
Yeah.
in through the day. Then they're able to also appreciate it. They're like, oh, it's not just this. It's not just
Yeah.
working
Especially
hard and working
teenagers, you
hard.
know, they get all funny when they see you like cleaning after them. They think there's some angel that comes and does it. They don't know that there's somebody who actually is doing it and working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to interrupt you, I like the examples you're saying, and I like using
Mhm.
my own examples because it's the, you know, your story is the most relatable thing that you can share with people because it's coming from you, you know, and I'm also
Mhm.
share my own story. As a single mom, I'm lucky being in UK that we get support, you know, like there's the child support that every child gets, you know, and then as single parents as well, you can there's some things you can claim to some extent or depending on circumstances and a lot of things that you can decide for yourself whether you want that support. And uh, the way you're saying, I remember for myself, I told myself, I know I'm a hardworking person. I've come from a very hardworking family. My mom is absolutely hardworking. I can't see myself staying at home just because the government can give me money. You know, I had that choice, but I didn't want to take that because I was like, okay, if I'm not working, what will I be doing with all my time? Just cleaning and being at home? That's some moments when my son will be in school. What will I be doing with those moments? I'll end up finding myself maybe sitting with the neighbors, you know, we'll be like smoking and gossiping. And like, what do you do with all that time, you know? So for me, I didn't choose that part. I decided not to choose that part. But still, every child is entitled to child benefit. And that child benefit goes a long way. It helps. You know your child can never lack. You have that security in mind that your child will never lack food. Yeah.
Yeah.
So That is for me as a single person. So if I was in a relationship and that I needed to leave, I know even if I have to leave, I can, because my government has provided something at least basic for my child, and you can even claim housing and everything. You see where I come from, how lucky we are, and that's why you can, you can tell yourself, no, this is an abusive relationship. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Yeah, that's why when
Yeah.
people bring about all this, should the government come in, I can understand where they're coming from. Should the government be paying instead of the husband? Because if the husband pays, imagine akikuja nyumbani anakwambia simu kulipa, hebu lala hapo. Yeah. Ulikuwa unafanya nini the whole day? See, I pay you to be at home. Eh, anytime, anyhow, atataka, you know what I mean? Atataka
Yeah,
simu.
entitlement.
Now that's another
Mhm.
abuse coming, a sexual abuse.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And I guess there is that point because out of every good thing, there's always someone willing to turn it
Exploit.
into a negative thing. Yeah. So of course there are the men who'll be like, I pay you, I give you allowances
What do I
Mm.
pay you
for
for?
this. Yeah. Why are you not? Why is my food not on the table?
Why my food is
Why
not
is
on
this
the table?
and this?
Why are you saying you're tired? Why are you saying you can't? I can't have it today. You have no reason to
Yeah.
say all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody said I have two boys, and I always tell them the day you feel you're ready to bring up a family, make sure you're ready to cater for all the needs of your wife and children, whether she's working or not. This is not a pay; it is a recognition that even a person who doesn't work, she has needs. So, someone needs to cater for that family, and the person earning is well placed to do that. Yeah, I do get that, because imagine every time unataka pad, ati nisaidie na pesa ya pad. Every time unataka, imagine some things. Kuna some things that you as a woman, you just want that pride of being able to do for yourself.
Yeah.
There's some savings, some chama you want to do. You don't want to every month that nipatie 100 chama, nipatie 100 chama. Hmm? You want to do that for yourself, for you, to feel some value. Yeah.
Yeah.
And an empowered woman is an empowered society. When you feel like you have the power within you to make some sort of decisions, some sort of controls, there's some things men never remember to buy or cater for. Those are things that you as a woman you'll be like, okay, unajua nini? I can imagine they'll never buy certain things. They're happy
Yeah.
to
True.
food, they're happy to pay for rent, they're happy to do this. But kuna vitu zingine, let's say kama kitu kama duvet. Wewe unaona hiyo duvet imeisha, unataka kununua nyingine. He's like, no, that can last us another 10 years. You're like, no, it's already lasted 20 years. So some of those things. Okay. Somebody's saying, gosh, I hate the way men just get home and put their feet while a woman. uh,
Yeah.
how do you mean? When it's from work and you've been at home the whole day? Let's see what they mean by that. If I read another comment as we go on, so somebody did say, I think the government should pay. Also, there are opportunity costs. Many stay-at-home moms have formal trainings and careers. And then, okay, therapists should also the family nurse. Okay, let me actually agree. Because the husband should pay. Somebody was like, yes, because if the husband should pay, then it won't make a difference. Because after all, it's family finances. So somebody, yeah, okay, what do you think about that, Kyria? What do you think about that? If the husband is paying the allowance, is it still considered as family allowances? So it makes no difference. So it really has to be the government.
I personally would prefer the government to be paying. That would be my personal preference. If this was something that was to be implemented, I'd prefer the government to pay. Um, yeah, just because you cannot trust that in each household the woman is being catered for the way that whatever law or whatever amendment has been stipulated, that is what's gonna happen.
Mm,
Because you can't control every household, you can't control every
Yeah.
relationship, every man.
mm,
So I would prefer for the government to do so. In terms of if it was to be a law and an amendment where it's the man that has to pay, I I would like to imagine that there's family finances and then she has her own money, because uh, she has her own money and she has her own finances. Because
Mm,
if you think that any money she's given is just family finances, then you think that, then you obviously now just think that the only purpose this woman serves is to
mm.
be a wife and a mother, and that, in my opinion, is really disappointing. So yeah.
Yeah, Jan.
Well, I guess she's actually right. It would be very hard to implement it in each household because the same way there are laws about specific things that are to be catered for, like children being taken to school, but some households don't implement that. So I feel like also I would agree with the issue of the government. And then something else I wanted to point out is that not every housewife is someone who does not have qualifications. So probably this is someone who has qualifications. They probably even have a PhD. They have a wide range of skills and capabilities. But
Mm,
you find that when they were getting married, the husband said, sit back and just could you like stay home so that someone can actually give the good nurturing of our kids because they didn't want to have a house help raising their child.
mm,
So I feel like even if the government was to pay, the husband has to play like a really, really big role
mm,
in also ensuring that this woman's needs are met. And maybe if I could just twist this a little bit in terms of, I feel like payment could mean a lot of things,
mm,
not just monetary value, but you find like some men treat their wives as their house helps. They follow. There's this TikTok that goes like, I'm your wife, not your mother. Like it's a continuous thing. It says, I'm your wife. Your wife is not your mother. Something I don't remember the exact whatever it says,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like a payment should be more than just money. It should be um,
Mm-hmm.
appreciation. It should be quality time. It should be
Uh-huh.
the pampering. Like you're like, my wife has worked so hard this week. Let me take her out for a spa treatment and leave her, or let me take her out for a shopping spree. Like whatever is worth like people love different things. So maybe if
Yeah.
your wife prefers vacations, sometimes your wife even just wants you to just cook one meal,
Once in a while.
just
One
once
meal.
in a, or even just make sure that if you get home and you take off your clothes, you put them in the basket. Like
It's
it,
simple
it
things.
it's very simple
Like
things. It doesn't
recognizing
even
and saying, I'm here. Just saying, I can see you. You're just not
exactly.
the mother to my children and the house girls. I can see you. You are my wife.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, let me see that somebody's saying when people fall in love, they're just the two of them. Talk about all this before having children. A good man will have no issues catering for his children. Being parent is a decision. Oh, okay. I really wonder who that is. I really wonder who that is. I would like to know who that is. Absolutely. You know what? Most of the time we talk about these things a little bit too late, a little bit too late. If you
You
talk
talk
about,
about it when the woman is like 8 months pregnant.
yeah, my friend, what does she say? It's hard to reason with a woman in love and a man with money, or a man with money. She said it so well. So when people are in love, the first time the woman is in love, you can't reason with that. But what we need, like empowering and teaching each other right now, is that if you talk about these things beforehand and before they even happen, so you say like, whoever will be working, yeah, put it as whoever will be working or getting more, yeah, and the one who will be staying at home is entitled to this and this, so that they're able to do this and this. And so these are some of the things that we could do for each other to show appreciation. It's just like the way it's expected for a woman to show appreciation for the man who works by when he comes home, oh darling, kazi ilikuwaje, how was work, just appreciating that he provides for the family. Why can't he also do the same and just come home with flowers? Thanks, Mama, for looking after me. My old clothes are always ironed. I'm always looking on point. My
Yeah,
kids are always looking. I brought you these flowers. Today, we're not cooking. Today, don't cook.
exactly.
Hmm? I brought us a meal. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Those little things, little things. Somebody saying nimeingia, karibu, karibu. I hate it when I can't see your names. I'm not okay with the term pay. Okay. It sounds very harsh in my ears. Parents are mature people. They should not even be discussion for married couple, not a wife, but for a baby daddy. This should not even be a discussion for married couple. Okay, some points that came up about this is that we just want, if somebody is married, they feel like if it's time to walk away, just maybe because the person is manipulative. Sometimes you fell in love with somebody and they change, they become a social path, or they started money started coming in, and maybe it brought out the other part of them that was maybe hidden. Whatever the circumstances, you want the lady to be able to walk out, because we've seen people dying, people being killed. You go back to your parents, and your parents are like, we have no room for you. Rudi penye ulioleka. Na umetoroka huko penye ulioleka. That's what you're running away from. Hmm?
Mm.
Hauna pahali pa kwenda. You haven't got any savings. How could you have saved and you're not working? So, okay, you tell us what you want us to call it. That is very a good point to bring up, so that when people we start opening to this new world, new society, where we do recognize that sometimes in married couples, there's one who will be at home. What is the money that's supposed to be given? What do you want to call it? Something that would be comfortable in our ears, but that should be done to save her from worries. When she sees you drunk and coming home, having used all the savings, she won't go mad at you knowing that you're not doing anything. Even if he's drunk it, at least I know that we have some savings for our future still. As he's been careless this one time, but it doesn't mean it's a routine. So you don't go mad over the small thing.
Could I say something over the previous comment?
Yeah, please.
I feel like I understand what she's saying.
Okay.
Maybe I could interpret it differently, in the
Mm,
sense that she's saying this should not be something that should be I agree with the part she says it shouldn't be something discussed in a married couple, but
mm,
maybe for people with baby daddies and
mm.
yeah, who are baby mamas, in
Yeah.
the sense that as you're married, that should be the responsibility of the man. You should provide. Like it shouldn't be there. Like it shouldn't be a problem. I get that's what she's saying. Like it should not be a problem in a married couple where you feel like your wife.
Oh,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then it should be discussed.
Mm,
It should be discussed in terms of like now a baby daddy, because this person is not obligated to you by law, and this is
mm,
something that is outside that, so now
mm,
you should be paid for that. But if you're married, you should do it. It's the same way. For instance, you have
mm,
an obligation. If you're going to work,
mhm,
you have an obligation to look a certain way,
mm,
maybe to dress a certain way, to speak a certain way. It's the same obligation that a man has to a woman who he decided to get married to. And they're like, if this is my wife, I should probably take care of all of her needs. And someone says, I like to quote the Bible because I'm a Christian. It says a man should provide, yeah,
mm,
provide and protect. And
mhm,
providing and protecting does not just generally mean money or protecting physically. It means a very wide variety of things. Provide,
mhm,
protect in terms of if you die,
mhm,
if your family comes and takes all your stuff, I will be
mhm,
able to stand on my own 2 feet because you have constantly
mhm,
provided.
mhm,
Yeah, or you protect in the sense that I'm capable of standing on my own
mm,
even without you, like you, in terms of now what we're saying, payments. So
mm.
that is my interpretation of it, and I just wanted to shed some light.
Yeah, yeah. I like that you said that. Yeah, Kiri, I don't know whether you had anything else to add on that. I like the way you've explained that, which is really making sense. As a married couple, you should be comfortable just doing those things in the beginning. But in case maybe there wasn't that conversation at any point, maybe that's where I thought maybe she meant, oh no, Don't talk about that. No. But in case that wasn't spoken about before, what are some of those things that you can talk about and in a comfortable way? So, Kira, did you have anything to add on that particular one? Maybe.
Not really. I saw somebody talk about how what is I gonna say? I saw somebody talk about how they would like a married couple to be part of the discussion,
Mm,
and I agree to an extent. I would really like to hear from my couple's perspective, but I would specifically like to hear from a housewife. That's who I'd
yeah.
like to hear from, because most modern day married couples have people to take care of their children, have people to do the housework. So I would like to hear if we're opening up the conversation, I'd really like to hear from someone that is a housewife that does spend most of their days at home taking care of the children, and taking care of the things of the house, because most other women have people that they've hired to do that. Sometimes it's one person, sometimes it's multiple people. So there's someone for the child and there's someone for the house.
Mm,
But yeah, so I just wanted to say I agreed with that comment for whoever commented it. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't really have anything else to say. I agree with what Jeremy said about what's it called? What she said about how if you're a married couple, this should just be this should be a conversation you already had, especially before you have kids. And somebody that you just had a child with, they're only obligated to you through the child, and not by law or by love. So yeah, married couples should have already had the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We still have some more comments, and I did have some more comments regarding this topic, but I was hoping maybe we could move to the next topic. Somebody said, what if roles were equally distributed? I don't see how house chores or taking care of children is necessarily a woman's responsibility. Yeah,
You're
I
right.
think it's
You're right. That's the
True.
point.
it's not. But you're saying in case this a stay-at-home mom for whatever reasons, because sometimes it happens. Maybe you have a special kid. It could be anything. The circumstances are different for everybody. But just for you as a woman, you need to be able to have some things that you don't have to be asking every single element. Nipate 100 ya chama, nipate 100 ya pad, nipate unajua you just want
Yeah.
to have something for yourself. If you want to invest it, if you want to have just something for yourself. So yeah, absolutely, first and foremost, it's not a woman's responsibility. And thank you, man, because nowadays you're really pulling up your socks. We have men helping a lot. We have I can attest to that, and we're grateful for that. And then loving the insights being shared. So glad to see my girls, Amy and Sarah here. You look amazing. Thank you for having this live tuning as I'm cooking. Now those are better names too. Those are easy names for my tongue. I don't like big names. The recognition doesn't have to have a name. Okay, your woman does not work. Where do you think the woman should get the money for her hair, clothes, nails, etc? Um, preach, girl. And that's the other problem. Sometimes some people don't want to provide that because she'll spend money on her hair. Dude, you liked her because she was beautiful. She didn't wake up like that. We went to pretend that she did. She didn't. It costs money. You cannot.
Yes.
Well, it's 2022, and some people still don't know that a woman needs to look good and that it costs money, that you didn't wake up like that. Even though we want them to believe we woke up like that, we know we did it. We know this is a bloody wig. And it costed me money. Oh,
Yeah, it costed money. Another thing I wanted to say is it's not just the men who don't know it, and that's my problem. I wish
mhm.
the women knew that it costs you money. Like you should know, even you as a woman, because there are women who are just saying, "Oh, it's my work. Aki Woshe, this is my duty." They don't feel like they deserve more and that they should be getting more. And I feel like that is the problem. Because
That's the
if
point.
women believed it, they would not settle for a man who wasn't going to provide for them. I feel like we should even change the message and try to get women to believe that they deserve more. Because that is where it changes. When a woman believes that I deserve more, I want more. And that's why Carrier said that most women who are happy are the ones who are single. And they're not single because they're single. They're single because they know that they deserve more and they don't settle for anything less than that.
I
Uh,
agree 100%. I mean, if this is gonna sound a bit harsh, but a bird that's brought up in a cage, you're gonna tell it that it can fly. It won't believe you. It'll think that it will fall. And that's just kind of how it is a lot of times, even with women empowerment. There are lots of women that hate feminists and that hate the progressive movement of trying to get women equal pay, trying to have men and women be equal in terms of taking care of the children, taking care of the house, that type of thing. There are lots of women that absolutely hate that. But it's because they were brought up being told like this is what a woman's role is. If you
yeah,
step outside of this, you failed
yeah,
as a woman, or you're not doing the right thing. And so there's plenty of women who have conflated their purpose in life to marriage and children, and that's it. And there's
yeah.
nothing else that they were put on this earth to do. And it's really sad, especially when you're talking to someone that is like that. They're just so like their brain is incredible. They're amazing. Listening to them speak is incredible. But they think their whole purpose on this earth is just children, husband. That's it. It's
Chores.
sad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
first, let's clap for ourselves because we've come a long way and we know we deserve better. And nowadays we go for better. And if you can't
Yeah, we are
appreciate
doing well.
yeah, if you can't appreciate it, I know we are not bitter. It's okay. Our paths were not aligned to meet yet. Maybe in the next life, maybe, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I know what I deserve. I can provide for
Mm,
myself those things already. But now I'm at home. For whatever reasons, I'm at home. I was providing fine. Yes, I know you prefer me without my wig. I'm prettier without my wig. Yes, we know that. But right now, I feel like wearing my wig and I want to wear my bloody wig. So let me wear my bloody wig in peace. You don't have to worry about the wig every day. No, you only do end month. Just whatever you do, I know how to budget because I've been doing it as a student, or I've been doing it from my parents' home. My parents didn't have any money, but I managed to look good, and you like me for looking good. You like me for looking hot. Yeah. At that time, out of all the many girls, even the ones who are natural and the ones who are God's gift from, I don't know, whatever it was, you chose the one with the wig, the one who had makeup on. That was me. 5 years on, you don't want me to be buying the wigs? No, that's not a problem on my part. It's a problem on your part. I can understand if you don't have the money, that's different. I can understand if you're struggling, that's a different thing altogether. But you're okay, you're working, and I'm at home, I'm looking after the kids, I'm doing all these chores, I don't have any source of income. I want to buy my bloody pads. I don't want to ask you for 100 shillings to buy pads. Let's
I
see.
think maybe I
Yeah,
think
go on.
maybe we should talk about also because maybe someone is seated back home and they're like, well, my boyfriend does not have the money, or maybe my husband does not have the money to pay
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we come from a low income family
Mm,
where my dad, quote unquote, cannot pay my mom.
mm.
What happens then in in,
Um,
in such cases? Because they're there, we cannot
yeah.
cannot be blind to it. They're there.
Here, take that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the lady who'd commented about pay, she said in her second comment that it's not just the physical thing. And Jeremy, you said this earlier, it's not just the like giving you money, it's how are you treating her. Does she feel appreciated? Does she feel respected in the household? Does she know that she can say something and her word stands, especially in regards to stuff in the household that she deals with every day? Because that's another thing, right? Is where even if I'm the person that's in the house all day, when he comes home, he says something and that's what passes. And I don't have a say in it at all, even though I'm the one that's here all day. I know what's going on in this house constantly. So I think it's not all about the money. It's what the money represents. It's
Mm,
the fact that the money represents that if you are not here, I
mm,
would have to bring someone else to do this job and I would
mm,
have to pay them.
mm,
And so whether I have the money to be able to take care of our family and give
mm,
you money or not, I want you
mm,
to know that you're appreciated, you're respected, you're loved. you have a place in this household, and it's not at the bottom of the barrel. It's it's at the
Yeah,
top.
at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, we're trying to speak to like hopefully mature women. We're trying to hopefully talk to the mature men out here. We're not talking about people who are still like want to be stuck in that childish ways. This is all about growth. Our platform is about learning from each other and growing each other and empowering each other. That is what it is about. But if you're a woman who still is in that pettiness, we are here for each other. We can help you. We'll help each other and we'll grow together. But we hope that you know that it's all about expansion and growth. All these things are phases, and all these things like we talked about in this forum, different discussions, that we have to take responsibilities of our situation. We have to know that we brought that to ourselves and that we manifested that in a way, one way or another, and accepting that is part of like growth and change. But that we won't go to that today. But let's say you're in that situation, you as a mature woman, I wanted to use a swear word, but I won't. I'll resist to that. Yeah, grown woman, you know that you got to sit down with your spouse and understand the situation. There, as a mature man as well, will be like, you know what, this month we can't afford this kind of luxuries, we can't do this. So if it's from a monetary point of view where you guys are going through a phase, it's fine. You can adjust, you can be creative with your beauty, you can be creative with your even as something as essential as periods. People do it every day. We've got kids who come from places that they don't have. You got to be creative in those terms. So it's not the end of the world. It's not we're breaking up because you didn't give me maintenance. Oh, yeah, done mekasirika and all that. No, that's not about this. That's not about this. Oh, now I won't go to bed with you tonight. You hukunipatia maintenance. No, I hope we are above them. I hope we are. Seriously, I'll read a few more comments with that. Have you read that here? Loving the insights being shared. So glad to see. We read that. The recognition. Oh, we read. You cannot let someone be raising your kids and wait for her to ask for things. It's disrespectful. Our husband is a soldier, protect and provide. Germany explained very well. This is oh, so my dear sister Angela, and I'm the one who did like the town pay. I want you to tell me what you call it, Maria. Hi, my darling. I agree with splitting the chores. Yeah, you got to be understanding to each other. Some people think, okay, actually, you're just at home, amekaa tu kwa nyumba, but it's not. It is hard work. I know sometimes when men are left at home to look after the kids, they make it look so easy because they go the short way of like, you want this, have it, you want this, have it. So we kind of think it's easy, but it is hard work. Sorry, guys, my staffs are like acting up. Okay, and then we have some things are not even to ask for if you are keen and caring husband, and then somebody says correct, and then we have yes, we have come along and women should stop judging other women and support all the world is already full of men who judge us. Mm, do we need to say more? Those who agree, okay, I wanted to, those who agree with maintenance, how should people in low income juggle that? I just wanted to hear what people say about that. So today I don't know whether somebody wanted to add anything. If you have anything to add on this, then we go on to the next one where it was, are there people against women working and why? That was something we were to tackle next. I'll let you carry
Oh gosh, are there people against working and why? I mean, yeah, there's lots of people against. I'm kind of at the place in my life where I have friends that are working, and they're getting into relationships, so they're dating. And every once in a while, I'll have a friend be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy! Imagine this guy's telling me at if we were to get married, I wouldn't work. Like he would. He doesn't want a wife that works. He wants me to stay at home and take care of his children." So yeah, there's definitely people that don't want women to work, and it comes from all sorts of places, um, and it comes from all sorts of experiences because some people were just raised with a woman at home, and so they feel like in order for their children to have a good life, their wife has to stay at home, or them as a woman would have to stay at home. So yeah, there's people that don't want women to work. There's people that think that the downfall of society began when women joined the workforce. So yeah.
go on,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm trying to send the link also to my mom. She said she can't
Okay,
join.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, my take on if there are people who think women should not work and who are against women working, well, every coin has two sides. Honestly, there's just I really don't know how I feel like I said earlier, I am pro-choice. That is what I believe in. I believe in choice. So I feel like as women, we have that choice. But like, yeah, there are people against women working. Especially, I watched a video today. It was saying that how there are men who would want to build you up, but there are men who would prefer you broken so that they can constantly mend you. In the sense that there's a man who is always willing to give you that 1,000, but they're not willing to put you up for opportunities to give you that can give you money. So I guess, yeah, there are men, there are other women, there are parents, there are friends. I feel like there's everyone. So yeah, where did she go?
I don't know.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Eh, my laptop wants to turn itself off. I don't know, for some reason it's not charging. So I was trying, I was struggling to find a point for it before it turns off. Yeah, you know what? I've seen on Facebook sometimes some women asking about how what to do. The men don't want them doing a business. They don't want them working. I'm thinking, why would that be an issue in this modern time if somebody is trying to help with the finances? Why should it be an issue and stuff? Can you read that for me a minute while I try to find out to charge my phone?
I
And
am a woman who Okay. I am a woman who works and we have bills to pay in common. And my husband still gives me maintenance money. It's 2022. We can't stay ugly and they look for fresh girls ukonje. My friend, Ebu Tuzeke na dignity.
I totally agree. Kwanza, those ones who don't want you to have your own money.
Yeah. There's a
The
reason.
ones,
There's a
yeah,
reason.
the ones Nicole mentioned that they don't want you to have wigs, they don't want to give you makeup money. Those are, I've heard it said that most of those ones are the ones who are usually caught with women with wigs and makeup. Yet they left you at home saying they don't like makeup. Hmm.
well, if finally that thing is charging, I don't know what was up with it. We are told the internet is quite bad. Whose internet is bad? Because today I'm hearing all my guys really well. I think I'm okay. I hope you don't mean ours. So au wenye ukisikia mtu ataki ati sijui ati uko poa natural, just know huyu amejitoa hapo hivyo kwa budget ya maintenance, amejitoa kwa budget ya future, sijui ati leo this week niko broke, amejitoa kabisa. Amesha kuambia in short, do not go that path. They'll call you high maintenance and stuff. So ndo ataki. Please, Maria, tell us whose internet is not good. I didn't quite follow this. I'm a woman who works and we have bills to pay in common, and my husband still gives me maintenance money. It's 2020. You can't stay ugly and they look for fresh girl uko inje. My friend able tuzeeke na dignity. Absolutely. Alafu utaambiwa ati siku hizi unavaa tu sijui manini, you don't look after yourself
Mm,
anymore. That's why I went.
yeah,
Always your fault. And you're thinking, if you told me we're saving money and I started wearing dera to in bed, jusiezi hapo silk 90. Na sasa kama
yeah,
dera yangu imekuwa shida,
This is
yeah.
actually
They
quite
usually say,
interesting.
my wife amejiachilia.
I
amejiachilia.
hate when men say that. I
Yeah,
hate when men say that. I'm like, what do you mean? What do
Maybe
you
you used
mean?
to
They
fall for
look
those
the
things. You fall for those things.
yeah.
And you believe it. Ati my wife amejiachilia, hajiangalii nini, and you don't want to provide. You have to remember, hata kuoga tu cost money. Just hata kuoga tu. Hiyo kuna sabuni, aweze kuna sabuni. And
Yeah,
sabuni cost money.
someone said that um men should, like, she was responding to the comment where men said that my wife has let herself go, and
Mm.
she was saying that a man leaving the house is probably him putting on roll-on his knee, putting on the same shirt he wore yesterday, and the same pair of jeans he's been wearing for 1 week. Like, he uses the same soap from his head to toe, the same towel. As a woman, you cannot use that same soap on your face. You cannot use, in fact, you have soaps for different areas of your
Of the
body.
body.
Yeah, because if you use a scented soap on your hoo-ha, you're gonna get a yeast
Yeah.
infection.
Infections.
If you
Yeah.
use a different soap on the same soap you use for your body on your face, you're gonna get a
You're gonna break
breakout.
out.
Alafu atasema you're not washing, you're not clean. So the maintenance that goes into a woman body cannot be equated. She was saying that a man cannot understand the amount of things required for the maintenance of a
And
woman's body.
absolutely. And that's why,
Yeah.
if you have the
So
resources, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, dear. If you have the resources, just give it to her. Because if akikutuma, you'll get confused. You won't understand why you need different one for hair, why the hair needs more than two types of things. In fact, it's three or more types of things. You need the
yeah.
shampoo, you need the conditioner, you need the oil. Yeah. And the oils are different. It depends on what kind of hair you have. You can't go putting, I don't know what kind of oil on, I don't know, palm hair. You have to get these things. Okay. Do you want us to move on to the next item, or have
Yeah,
we
sure.
exhausted this?
Sure.
Yeah, so we were saying, why do we still have imbalance in engineering, the STEM subjects in general? Why is there an imbalance in that field? Why don't we have women doing in engineering? What is the problem?
I think for me, I would say that just goes down all the way back to like how girls are socialized from a very young age. Because I mentioned this earlier. The way, I don't know about you lovely ladies, but the way that I was brought up, everything that I did or said always became equated to when you're married, when you have children. So I remember because I was a bit of a tomboy as a kid, so I used to burp like out loud, and I would be reprimanded. I'd be told, you can't be burping. By the way, I'm like 10, 11, and I'm being reprimanded and being told, you can't burp like that. You're going to burp like that when you're on a date with a man. He'll leave you. I'm like 10 at this point in time. I'm not even thinking about boys, but that's like the first thing that I'm taught. You have to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to keep the house tidy, because who's going to do that when you have children and a husband? And I'm like, why can't they keep it tidy themselves? So yeah, so from a very young age, we're not taught to consider the possibilities of our lives outside of marriage and children. We have to factor those things, and that's how girls are taught growing up. You have to factor in eventual marriage and children, because otherwise, what are you doing, or who do you think you are? And
Absolutely
STEM
true.
is a quite is as STEM in general is quite demanding. And so if you have a girl, especially if it's like a firstborn daughter, that
Mm,
is interested in STEM, but when she goes home, she has homework, but she also has every other chore in the house, and she's also doing this and she's also doing that, and she's taking care of her younger siblings and all of that. Versus a
mm,
firstborn son who gets home and there's
mm,
dinner on the table, he did not have to worry about preparing.
mm,
There's any of the chores, none of that. If he has younger siblings, he doesn't wash them, he doesn't look after them, he doesn't take them to bed, any of that.
mm,
So there's already that disparity just from when children are like in middle school, high school,
mm.
university is a whole other thing. So I think it starts from there. Not to mention, girls are usually discouraged from STEM. I don't know if this ever happened to anybody else. Like in mathematics, like teachers didn't really push for girls to like do it very well. It was
Yeah,
always the guys that were the focus. So I
yeah.
don't know. So I feel like it starts from there, and girls just lose interest because they're always told that that's a man's field. Um, yeah.
Yeah, just still on you. Is that still ongoing? Because we do appreciate that until recently, a lot of us women, end goal was you are married. It doesn't matter whether you have a degree or anything, it was still our end goal. Like, oh, you're married,
Yeah.
and now everybody's happy, like you've achieved everything in the world. But if you didn't
Exactly.
get that, there
Yeah.
was still it will still be brought up. So is that still ongoing? Where we're still not encouraging the STEM?
I think that it's beginning to change. I've seen a lot of like coding camps specifically for girls. I've seen a lot of yeah, I've seen a lot of like female YouTubers talking about getting into STEM. I've seen a lot of women talking about getting into STEM after learning how to like do stuff on the internet and then getting really well paying jobs. So
Yeah.
I think that it's beginning to change, but I
Mm,
do still think if you still like it's still a thing that is taught to young girls, right?
mm,
It's still something that if you pay close attention to how some parents talk to their kids or how teachers talk to kids, it's still very much there. And so girls are beginning to change their minds when they get into high school or college. But
yeah.
how many of those actually are afforded the chance to is another thing as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Jan, to you.
Um, I agree with Keria because I believe that that's where it begins from, the constant construction of, as a psychologist, yeah. When you constantly hear something, even though you might have been confident about it in the beginning, your mind adapts it either unconsciously or
Mm,
even knowingly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way when, for instance, an example is if I see you and I'm like, hey Keria, today you look sad, and you weren't sad. Maybe that time you were just serious when
Yeah. Yeah.
focusing on something.
Yeah.
And then another person comes in like, but you look sad today.
Yeah.
Why are
Yeah.
you so quiet? Is there something wrong? Eventually, by the end of the day, you will be sad, whether you wanted it to be sad or not. Like your
Mhm.
brain finds reasons for you to identify with sadness. You'll be like,
Mhm.
but today I actually, that car really just passed and it spilled water on me. You
Yeah.
weren't sad at that moment, but now it has become a reason for you to be sad. So I
Mhm.
feel like that um, planting of ideas at a young stage, or even as we progress in life,
Mhm.
plays a very big role. And also, there's, even if you are a woman and you begin to study STEM courses, there is not much encouragement. You'll hear people say statements like, now you chose that course, why? Like, most women don't usually do well. Like, you've chosen it, you're in the you've gotten through all that talk, and you've finally gotten to university and you've done it
Yeah.
and you're doing it. You will find that there's very little appreciation, encouragement, and just constant reassurance. There is very little of that. And
Mm,
also the environment is not really good, because you realize that, I think it has, every woman has experienced it in one way or the other, in a
mm,
case where, of course, like you said, the STEM world is has few women. So maybe, for instance, you're in a class full of men, they
yeah.
will mansplain, they will make you feel like you don't deserve to be here, even if you're smarter than them. So
Mm,
there is no, that it's not a good environment that can is able to nurture a woman in STEM. So if you're
yeah.
in a class that is full of men, you will constantly be told, don't worry, I'll do that. Oh, I'll help you with your assignment.
Mm,
You couldn't possibly get that. Or if, for instance, if you raised your hand, someone would still be like, we're not
what?
sure you could get it. Like, let's let him try first.
yeah.
And then maybe after that we can give you a chance. So there's a lot of mansplaining. There's a lot, the environment is not conducive for that. So you
Mm,
you might find that many women go into the maybe engineering, they study engineering, but there's a lot of bringing down, like there's a lot of pounding down, that by the
mm,
time they're done, they don't even want to do that work anymore.
mm. You
Like,
know what?
because you've been beat upon constantly,
Yeah.
you feel like, I would rather get
Yeah.
married to a man who is doing this and then I sit at home, or let me choose a different career path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
And
just,
another thing, okay,
yeah, go on.
sorry.
No, that's all right.
Another thing, another thing I wanted to say is that the constant thing, there's this doctor, he's a psychiatrist, he said that as human being, the most vital thing in our life is relationships.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like at the center, because it's the way you relate with your parents, the way you relate with your friends, the way you relate with your colleagues, and then most of it is usually the way we relate with now potential lovers. So
Mm,
you find that even in the dating life of a woman in STEM,
mm.
and maybe the person they're dating is doing something
That's.
slightly lower than the, like, does not seem very superior,
Yeah.
the man would tend to be like, you're
Mm.
not really good. Like they'll tend to bring you
Bring you
down
to
to
the
the level.
level, kind of.
Yeah. So I feel like that also plays a big role. The relationships that they get into, even in during that period.
Yeah.
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 So
I was
Absolutely. Go on.
sorry. No, I was gonna add on top of what Jeremy said. I think it's also something interesting because I realized as she was talking that nobody asks boys why they're doing STEM.
Nobody what?
For them, nobody asks boys why they're doing STEM.
Mm.
For them, it's a given, right? For them, it's a
Yeah.
given. For them, it's like, oh yeah, sure, of course, go do engineering, go do science, go
Mm.
do coding, technology. It's fine, go ahead. But for now, a woman, it's why you don't want to do
Oh yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and just
The
that
bewilderment
already,
and
for exactly just because of that, just because of initial reactions,
yeah,
STEM is already a place where men can be
yeah,
comfortable. They don't have to prove themselves. They don't have to prove that they deserve to be there. They don't have to explain to anybody why they're there. Because people see them, they
yeah.
think, yeah, you're a smart guy, you're fine. But for women, it's, even when people are talking to women in STEM, it's always, oh wow, you're so accomplished.
Mm.
Wow, how did you ever get through studying STEM in college? And it's like I just did what my male counterparts did.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing as well that can really contribute to that, is just because I've seen it a lot. I've seen where people are just like, oh my gosh, she's so incredible. She did this and this in STEM. And it's like, yeah, but so
Mm.
have a lot of like men, so have a lot of her equals. But
Yeah.
because you're making it such a big deal, other young girls that want to go into that field will think, oh, I have to work 10 times harder, which she might have to. Especially if you're a very feminine looking woman, if you're somebody that likes your dresses and your makeup and your skirts.
Mm.
Just by that, the way that you are perceived within the STEM world is gonna be a bit difficult. So, but yeah, just because already for men, STEM is a comfortable environment, you're supposed to
Mm.
be here anyway. Whereas for women, it's, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Are you sure you're not
Mm.
lost?
Utolwa
The
na nani? Nani
Yeah, are you
atatakuwa?
sure you're not lost? Psychology is right down the hall. I'm sorry, Chadwi. But
I know,
it's,
I know.
but it's
Yeah.
true. Psychology is down the hall. Are you sure this is where it's supposed to be?
I like the
So
points that have come up, and I can relate because I'm a lady in engineering and I've always been into engineering. You see, there's still that because there's
yeah,
not
there's
enough
still
of
there.
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
and I got a lot to say about this. First, when this topic came up, I did ask a few people what kind of questions they might want to us to talk about and stuff, and that came up, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And now listening to you, first, just to tell you, I love psychology. I love neuroscience mostly. And I do understand how lazy the brain can be. The brain wants the laziest part as possible. That's why it cries likes habits. And that's why we're creatures of habits. And that's why you find in a family of doctors, everybody will just be naturally doctors. If it's a family of this, it's sometimes it's not even genetic. It's just something that the brain is, it's seen around it. So it's normal. So when it comes to our women, yes, we don't have women in engineering for all those things you said. For me, I just think it was easy for me because as I was growing up, I related more as a tomboy. I was known more of a tomboy. So I didn't feel like it would be a big deal or a surprise to people if I wanted to do engineering. So I just got into engineering naturally. It's something I really love. And then my journey in engineering halted so many years ago because I couldn't get any job. This is a real story. And I tell some people, especially there's somebody I was talking to, a very intelligent man, and they didn't believe me because he's way younger than me, over like 10 years younger than me, and he couldn't believe me. I'm like, yeah, that thing, it actually was happening during my time. Because I would go to that person's office, a particular person I've shared on my platform before, and I went to this person's office loads, but I knew what he wanted. Everybody knew what he wanted, but I wasn't. I was those kind of girl. I want to do it the right way. I want to do, But looking back at afadhali ningekubali tu yangeisha. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I wouldn't advocate for that. So I was like, no, because if it was for a man, it's so easy. Because back then it was so easy. If it's your man, you give him something, unampatia kitu kwa mfuko, and then that's finished. But for a woman, I can't give him money. I can't. So I couldn't get that job. And I loved money too much. I couldn't waste my time in waiting for a future money. Instant gratification. You want money now, not tomorrow. So I like comparing. So, but now I'm back. And comparing then, all of my classmates were male, African male. They were nice, but they still have those, they're African men and they were young men. So you're there with your dreams, don't notice. And back then I was carefree. I would wear anything I wanted, even if it's as short as I didn't care that. But now it's a different situation. Most of my classmates are way younger than me. All of them different color. Like literally everybody. I'm the only special color there, right in front of her. And I'm the only female, and I think I'm the oldest in class, if I'm not mistaken. Only female, oldest in class. The only special color around, and you're like, okay, I like this. I need more of this. I need more of different. We need more of different. And I thought maybe we should start a movement. I'll find all my STEM, I know a few STEM girls who say that, you know what, girls, doing STEM doesn't mean you're ugly, doesn't mean you're like a tomboy. You don't have to be like that. You can still be beautiful. And there's a lot of different roles out there. It doesn't mean that you have to be fundi umechikana na mawaya. It doesn't mean you have to be knocking things. It's so diverse na saizi na computer age.
Yeah. And I like
so go on.
I like what you've said about doing STEM does not mean you're not pretty or you're not. There's a movement now that, like, just like the feminist movements, there's been a movement of
Women.
feminine, where they're telling people, you should be soft, be in your feminine energy. I am a firm believer of that. But I feel like they always tell people, oh, if you do certain careers, you're in your masculine energy. And I feel like that is such a misconception.
Yeah.
Because, allow me mention that one of the ladies in the comments who mentioned our names, her name is Sarah. She's graduated with IT, and she's one of the most feminine women I know. She's one of amongst the most feminine women I know. She is very pretty and nini. So I feel like that could play a big role on people saying, oh, uko sure utafanya engineering, itakufanya ukue mngumu. You have to,
and then you want to
constantly be
yourself
yeah.
And hata kama uko mgumu, sometimes kuna ugumu nyingine it's just inborn. Kuna ugumu nyingine umezaliwa hivyo, where you have uko too masculine. Unajua, there's nothing wrong with that. There's somebody out there in the world that was meant for you. Mtu mwenye yeye alipewa ugumu times 20. Hiyo yako anaona tu, I can still protect that and embrace that. So don't worry, don't change yourself. Because I'm saying this because we want to empower each other. And some of us have been through this journey to talk from our own experience. I've been through where I was so conscious of my energy. I was so conscious of my, my broadness. I'm a tall female. And I'm broad, I take up space. Even when I don't try, even when you enter a room, you take up space. And I remember back in the days, watu wananiambia mbona unavaa heels na uko mrefu? Nowadays, navaa heels, navaa heels na hiyo urefu wangu na bado nataka heels. Who said because when tuliambiwa there's a certain height you're aiming at when you wear heels. So just be you. There's somebody out there for you. If you doing all those studies or kazi ya mjengo and you find that it brings about you, Don't worry, kuna mwanamume amejengwa alphas of alphas.
True.
So don't worry about that. I don't know whether there's anything else you want to talk about in that regard, and then before we go to our last topic, as in our audience, any questions there? Aki woye tumewasahau, mmenyamaza tunawasahau. Come on, why don't we have women in engineering? What are some of the things you've observed for yourself? I was gonna mention that I read a really nice article where a lady was saying that, you know what, she wants queues in the toilet. She wants queues in the engineering field, going to the toilet. You know, like when you go to some jobs, let's say medium, you're bound to find lots of female there, everybody doing their makeup, you know, waiting for the toilet. There'll be a long queue. She says we want that in engineering. We want the queues in our toilets too. You don't want to be the only female in that toilet. Unajua venye wole acha hiyo kiti kama imekaa hivyo, you know you will find it just like that because nobody else entered that. In fact, you should just write that your name on the toilet because nobody else will be using
It's
it.
just yours. You can leave your things
Yeah,
there.
you
You know
can
you'll
leave
come and
everything.
find them.
Kama huku flash utaipata hapo ikikuangalia. Nobody came. Nobody came outside. So yeah, anybody, I hope the audience have anything to add, questions as we go to our last one, which was what are some of the impacts of women empowerment to the GPD and at household level? What are some of the impacts of women empowerment? I think this is a really nice question, and I like that came up as well because we've had now our men really insecure about empowered women. They think it's I don't know what to use, not challenge, but I don't know whether it's an attack to them. They feel like it's something, it's got nothing to do with them per se, you know, it's got really nothing to do with them. Our empowerment is not saying that you're not a man anymore, you're not this anymore, you know. So I like that came up. So, what are some of the impacts of women empowerment to the GPD and at household level? Who's going to take that?
Madam Psychologist.
Yeah.
Why did you set us off for the last question?
John, you're still muted.
Sorry. Well, you should have started the question.
Okay. What are some of the impacts of women empowerment to the GPD and at household level?
Mhm.
Let me start you off then. You know, I'm thinking that now some of the benefits that I see, especially at household level, is that now we won't take abuse, we won't take mistreatment, maltreatment of any level, we won't take all that. Now, see that it's just saying, no, I'm a human being, I can't keep up with this. Just because my mom got beaten up, it doesn't mean I have to keep up with that. It's not right. Financially, whether you're the one bringing in the money or I'm the one bringing in my money, we're both bringing in the money, or I have inheritance, you're not going to squander my inheritance just because you're the man and I have to let you look after my inheritance and you just squander it and I've got nothing to say about it. Now we can say, no, that's my money. That's what my parents left for me. No, I'm not going to allow you to do that. You see, that is empowerment to me in a household level. Empowerment to me at a household level is that you know what, you as a strong woman, you know you can have a better influence to your children. You can empower your children and teach your children better things. And you know, because we are the society. We are the society. An empowered woman makes a big difference to the society. Your children are different. You know, your children don't just hear you like taking in crap, not having boundaries. Wageni watakuja tu kwako just because ni wageni, and wageni ni sijui what we say, they're what, the baraka or whatever, because wageni ni baraka. So you know that if in-laws will come, they'll do whatever they want in your house. You have no say. Kids are seeing you not having boundaries, not having, you know, you don't have, they're seeing all that. And all these things are loops. They'll take you to them to their houses. Yeah. So for me, that's some of those things. I know some men are not happy with it. It has affected some men. They don't know how to deal with empowered women. Some are taking their own lives because they're seeing a woman who can say no. You deal with your stress. I've got nothing to do with your work stress. I'm not your punching bag. You're not gonna come and offload it on me. So I'm sorry, you can't do that. So he gets mentally ill. He doesn't want to speak to his fellow men. He doesn't want to seek help. Then he becomes suicidal. Nobody knows. One day he's just not there anymore. Yeah. That's a negative part of it in a way, but not negative because the woman is empowered, just negative because the society has not come in terms with the fact that now we're empowered. And empowerment has got nothing to do with me fighting you back. I keep saying this, it came up last week too. Empowerment is not saying that I'm going to be drinking the whole time with my friends, nipatikane kama nimeanguka, viatu ziko huko, I'm full of mad because now I'm a free woman, I can do whatever the F I want. No, in fact, you know, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong, sweetheart. No, you're not saying that. That's you've lost dignity, disgrace to yourself, disgrace to your children, disgrace to everybody involved in your life. No, it's got nothing with that to do with that. It's just you showing up. If it's career, you were able to show up in your career and put yourself out there and put your name. We stop being the humble self when you see that a woman might have I don't know how many degrees, but at the workplace, the man with nothing who anajitolea na anasema tu yeah, I can do that, and the woman you know what, hii hata sijaifanya. You know, it's meant to be like humble and just, but by the time I realize that
Actually reminded me.
it happens,
That
isn't it?
reminded me of a statistic that men apply for jobs that they're 60% qualified for, but women only apply for jobs that are 100% qualified for.
True facts. True
Yeah.
facts. Still happening now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Promotions, you see that guy starting, you train him. Next time he's your manager, next time he's the whatever, next time he's the whatever.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, our audience gone quiet. Naskiza too. Come on, come on, come on. You want to hear what you say. So Jan, your go,
Yeah,
your go, your go.
sure, I can go. I can go. The thing is, I like to really just order my thoughts so that I can speak, because otherwise it would carry a noise. It would go.
Mhm.
So I feel like the impact of empowerment has been big, especially now
Mm,
that it has been big in various dimensions, in the
mm,
sense that it's not just us. Like, you're not doing this alone. Like, it's
mm,
um right now, if I want to look for a woman who is empowered, I can find her.
mm,
I can actually find multiple women who have been empowered.
mm,
And I'm sure even for the lady who said that she wishes that there are more engineers because of the washroom thing, like, a long time ago, that was the case for us, for women who want to be empowered, but you cannot find anyone who you can relate to, or someone who is already doing that, or who is already empowered. So I feel like that the one of the impacts, and the biggest impact, is that now we have people who have been empowered,
Mm-hmm.
and now you know that, okay, if someone has been empowered, now they're able to teach it to other people. So there's that education whereby a woman knows that, if I'm being told this and this, I'm probably being manipulated.
mm.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
if I'm being told this and this, the money is trying to make me small, the same way you were saying. Yeah.
Mm,
So, like, now there's like a roadmap. You know that this is what empowerment looks like, and this
mm,
is what like not being empowered looks like. So there's like that is like one of the biggest thing. And another, I feel like change causes a ripple effect, in the sense that it does not just happen in one place. It happens in a wide variety of places, and not just to one nini. Because right now we have, not like in an era where patriarchy was at its best,
mm,
whereby if you decided that you're a woman and you wanted to vote, it would be like every man would be on your case and be like, women are not meant to be vote, stay in the kitchen.
mhm.
But now you will find men saying, look,
Normal, nobody
it is,
thinks about it.
yeah, now men support women in their empowerment journeys. Like,
Mm,
if not all, but there are some. You will find men speaking up and being like, look, we don't think you should hit your wife. We think this is how you should treat your wife. We think this is how um yeah, and they even empower women. Even men are now empowering women because there's been that ripple effect where has it has caused every single person. And at least, for instance, now you can, apart from the STEM, you can even find that women, that there's a daughter to someone somewhere sitting saying, I want to be a footballer because there's a woman footballer.
Mm,
Because like right now, if someone was watching you and you said, okay, I'm in engineering, you are there.
mm,
So they can use you as an example to be like, oh, if she's doing it, I can do it. So I feel like that has been like the really, really greatest thing, because
mm,
we have roadmaps and we have more people joining in to empower. And even if we might not like agree with it entirely, but the government has really helped to the
mm.
point that men feel very threatened, to the point they're saying that women have been empowered too much that they have forgotten the men. But I feel like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, the men is just it was the lack of adjustment. It's got not. We don't need to empower men really, not in a bad way, but it's just them
The lack of
adjusting to change.
adjustment.
Mm. People don't like change, because it's uncomfortable, it's painful. People don't want change. People want what they're familiar with, and so now they're looking at this, the wife, and they're looking at their mom, and they don't understand it. But any man who has accepted change and has adjusted with it, I believe it's a beautiful conversation coming home and then being able to discuss about be using these big terms and saying like, you know what, we've made I don't know what skills and so profit percentages and talking, and the wife is like, yeah, well, it feels nice having a conversation. But when our women were not empowered, even if they had the knowledge, they didn't think that they can voice it. They didn't think that they can say it, lest they correct the man and he gets upset. His ego has been bruised, so you just leave him. And this is a true fact. For most of us, we saw it in our families where our moms never even corrected the male. They couldn't. You know that they couldn't. So they're doing something wrong. They're wrong in that sense. It is wrong. So for instance, tuseme hata kama ni hiyo pesa, that investment is wrong. Your investment unajua, you've read it, maybe you read it again, and you saw there pesa zako zimepotea, but you can't tell him because his ego will be bruised. Umejaribu kumcorrect, so you just let him learn something you could have helped avoid. So Kiria, umenyamaza sana.
Oh, one last thing I wanted to add
Mm.
is that at like another impact is that nowadays women are no longer taking those excuses where they're given, men will be just men. No one nowadays,
Boys will be
women don't
boys.
take those excuses. Like, mm-mm. We're
Mm.
not taking that. Men will be just men. Oh, he's a man.
That is a terrible
Women are,
excuse that men will be
yeah,
just
yeah.
oh, a
So,
terrible excuse for letting them off with some bad things they could do,
yeah.
and
Okay, I
excusing
can
bad
go.
behavior. I won't promise. I was tuned in, but I didn't get everything clear. It's for as long as I can remember. I've never depended on any man for anything. I work my way out. I'm equally a mother of three boys, and I always tell them to be the best they can be, respectful and responsible enough to cater for who they get in their lives. I repeat daily because some are young. Women are to be respected and protected, but at the same time, they shouldn't be fooled by those taking advantage. But his duty should count for. I don't know whether it continued. The problem is that we have been brought up with the idea of being a good woman for a man or a future husband. That's done and it's pity. But for the women who are bringing up girls, please tell them that enough and marriage is not the ultimate goal. The men we are raising are looking for women who are their equal. Oh, yes, we are raising. Oh, in fact, my son told me that the other day. He was like, Mom, I believe in equality. He's a teenager. Mom, I believe in equality. I'm like, okay, just because you don't want me to tell you what to do, now you believe in equality and stuff. But I'm like, good job, boy. Good job. I'm proud of you. He's so clever. He uses such things when he knows he's in a little bit of trouble. They're like, Mom, I believe in equality. I can't remember what the conversation was, but I'm like, yeah, good boy. So yeah, we are raising boys who can handle it. So bring on the girls who know that, what, marriage is beautiful, marriage is good. That's how we were wired, to be with others, to be with somebody, to be with a spouse. It's beautiful. but it's more fulfilling when it's loving and it has mutual respect. It's
Mm.
nourishing. Imagine the things you can do when you're with somebody who tells you, "Oh, good job, you go on." You come home and they're like, "Yeah, go on, you can do that." You'll be like, "Ah, there's a position that came up at 12, but I'm not so sure I can do. Why aren't you sure you can do it? So and so did it. You can do it too. What haven't you got?" Imagine being with such a person. So we are not against that. Unajua nini? I'm saying this because last week it came up and people are, I think it also came up kidogo leo, but we missed it kiasi. People think that I try to bring people on the platform who are single, who can talk from, I don't know, single point of view. And they're trying, no, we want all sorts of people to come on the platform. We want everybody's view. We want people to voice their concern. We want to be vocal about our things. We want to learn from each other. It's got nothing to do with that. And we respect marriages. We totally do. Just because somebody is not in a whatever in a union, it doesn't really mean that they hate it or anything. Just understand them and the circumstances and why they've not chosen it at that moment. So hakuna ubaguzi hapa hivi. Kiria, we came to you now. Sasa wewe ndo umenyamaza sana. Let's hear you as we.
I
I
was
don't know.
listening. I was having a good time listening. The benefits of women empowerment. I think one of the biggest benefits has been, I think for me in terms of the job market, there's a statistic there was a statistic that was done I think 2019 or 2020, I'm not too sure, that said that the people that start businesses the most are Black women and women in general. Those are the people that are entrepreneurs. And so, because those women are empowered, they've been able to create jobs and spaces in the job market for other people, men and women, to be able to work. So that for me is like one of the really big things about women empowerment, is just how much more work there is, I guess. Um, what else? What else has been great about women empowerment? There's so many things.
Yeah.
I think what's another thing that's been really great is that another thing that's been great is what was I gonna say? Yeah, we no longer live in a very, how do I say this? A very strict, tough guy. I don't know how to explain it. There's a lot. The world is a lot softer, I would say,
Yeah.
which some people might see as a bad thing, but I see it as a really good thing. There's a lot more. There's a lot more spaces
Flexibility.
for people. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot more spaces for people to be just themselves, especially I think in terms of men. I know that there's still work that needs to be done in terms of men having a space to talk about their feelings and their emotions, and that not being something that is looked down upon or treated differently. But there are so many more spaces for that than there ever used to be. And I think that that has come from women being allowed to create spaces for themselves, and so men have been allowed to create spaces for themselves. But there's also been looking at things from a different perspective than the perspective that so much of our society was founded upon. So yeah, I think we live in a much softer world. I think we live in a bit more of an empathetic world. um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the stuff I can think of to add on top of.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of things we can talk about, and a lot of things you can mention. Like you're saying, it's really true. That's so many things. There are those subtle things that we might not notice. And yeah, let's just continue empowering ourselves as women. Whoever wants to join, they can join. Whoever doesn't, that's okay. But we hope they can join. As soon as they do, the world can change, and we will have a better world to live in, a happier world. I was trying to wind down if there are no more questions, to be honest. Uh, Somebody saying, perfect discussion on issues that are affecting young married families. Your point number two looks interesting and beyond our time, husbands and wives' responsibility. I don't know whether you managed to join when we actually started with point number two, if I'm not mistaken. And we didn't exhaust it. That one we could have gone on and on because there are lots of angles to it that we can look into. But I think it could be a good thing if we reach to a point where there is a system that sustains a woman who stays at home, whatever we can, like a green or different method that we can help the woman who stays at home and look after the kids for our own sanity, for our own good, for her to just feel like she's part of the society at large. So, yeah, if you didn't watch it, you can go back. We don't ever delete our videos, so you can always go back to it and watch it. Yeah. If I add one more impact that I can think of that helps the society at large is the fact that when we have more women, empowered women in our workplaces, that's an increase in the workforce really, and a different perspective in everything that we get to do. It's amazing when you have all these creative minds together because that's how Mother Nature intended. So yeah, amazing that women are now there and women are now helping out in the workplaces. And the more we have women being comfortable and doing that, the better it is for a society. So that is a really important factor. And we know they make good managers. But we don't want to go there. But they do.
They do.
Yes. And women have discovered that all these things that we're told we are our worst enemies and stuff, those are lies sold to us so that we don't get along because, divide and rule kind of thing.
Divide
So
and conquer.
yeah, it worked, and it's a shame that we still think there's some women out there who still think it's true just because they've had one bad experience. They're forgetting that they have a lot of other nice experiences out there of women helping them. So they focus on this one particular incident where a woman she just didn't agree on that thing for whatever reasons, but it's got nothing to do that we are our worst enemies. If a man doesn't agree with another man, we say that man didn't agree with that man. But if a woman didn't agree with that woman, then women are their worst enemies.
He's a snake.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you don't choose. Any of my friends who still, oh my God, I don't know. Well, patience, God. I just hope I don't know anybody who still uses that. That's all I can say because I've been doing this for over a year now, a year or so. And if there's any friend of mine who still thinks that women are their worst enemies, all my support system is just consists of women. So, and it will be so bad. As we wind up, I don't know whether audience have any last questions, any last things, and then you guys can try and summarize today's session. Your summary for today's session, your last input in today's session, your takeaway for what we've talked about today. What is your takeaway? I'll start with you, Jan, because you keep on throwing it at Korea. So I'll start with you, dear. What is your take and summary for today, dear?
Well, we've really talked about different topics, but I guess at the center of all this is empowerment and just wanting the best for women. So for me, I feel like that this I could say this to different three audiences. First to an individual, like one thing I usually tell myself is I am an exceptional woman and I deserve the best of anything that I want. Be it a marriage, be it a, a job, be it an opportunity, be it a car, be it food, whatever it is, I believe that I deserve the best. And I feel like that has really changed how I look at things, has really changed what I accept and what I don't accept in my life. And so if once you really, really believe that, then you can know what to accept in your life and what you don't accept. And whatever you want, sorry, to believe whatever you want is the best. Then if it's a STEM course, go after it. If it's a man who pays you for maintenance or give you allowances, because there are women who do that. The women who, when they're asked what do you do for a living, they say I spend my husband's money. it's because that's what they wanted and they believe they didn't settle and don't settle. And another thing with the relationship bit, I know you said that someone said that because you're not married and that and that. I just wanted to say this. Sometimes for things to happen, it doesn't need for you to have had that. You just need to be exposed. We've been in a family which exposes us to the concept of marriage. We've seen our aunts, our uncles, and even people in workplaces. There's that concept of marriage. It's everywhere. So, and the one of the best thing me and Terry agree on is we learn from other people's mistakes so that we don't make those same mistakes for our own. we don't we don't want to duplicate mistakes. So, yeah, and also another thing. This is what if you speak on me fast, my train of thought usually runs really wild. So
Yeah.
another thing for anyone who's getting into a marriage, a relationship, the first stages from a psychologist, the first stages of your dating life is an interview.
Mm.
Forget about your feelings, forget about the emotions, forget
Yeah.
about how good he looks, forget about his car,
Mm.
forget about all those things.
Mm.
Interview mode. Your
Mm.
interviewers will, if you get employed to a job, they become your friends. You laugh with them later. But before that, when you sit in that panel, they'll not even smile at you.
Mm.
That is the same way you should treat a relationship as when you're getting into it as an interview.
Mm.
Get to know that person. Ask, know your, is this person going to do this and this and this? Is this what I want? Is this what I don't want? And
Mm.
then hold them accountable for what you want.
Mm.
And lastly, to the general audience, if you have a man in the audience, empower everyone, not just your sister, not just your mother,
Mm.
because women empowerment also brings about men empowerment. Like the more women have been become empowered, the more men feel to express their feelings.
Yeah.
So if a woman is empowered, the society is empowered. So
Mm.
yes, that's all I can say. So I can say a lot of other things.
There is a lot to say. I agree with you, Tracy.
Yeah.
Hi, girl.
Oh, it's me. Gosh, what would I say as closing statements? What would I say as closing statements? I think I would say care for the people around you. Um, not because of how they serve you or what they can do for you, but because you love them, because you care about them. And I think once you begin to consider this, not only will you be a better friend to like women and feminine people, but you also it won't be this is specifically now obviously towards men. It wouldn't be a problem getting into a marriage with a woman and figuring out what that's gonna look like because you're considering her feelings, her thoughts, what she wants to do with her life, and you're able to walk through that together.
Mm.
um what else would I say? Yeah, women should keep lifting each other up,
Mm.
keep reminding each other of everything that we have and everything that we are, and the power that we hold, our gifts, our talents, our abilities. Tell the women around them how great they are. Tell the men around them how great they are. And just care for the people around you. I think um, care for the people around you and allow that to continue to feed your life. And hopefully someday soon we can stop having conversations like this. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'd say for closing statements.
Thank you, girls. I really appreciate your time. We had a few comments that were coming up just before. I just wanted to shout at those women who decided to be housewives. It's not easy, and I just want to let them know they're a blessing. Good job, mamas. Keep up the good work. Absolutely, we are sending you all the love and light. It is not easy. Yeah, it is not easy. It is not an easy job at all. I know it's we calling it a job, but it can be a job. Imagine doing that 24/7, you have no outlet and everything. It can be too much. So, Angela, why I tell them to be ready and accept everything when you start playing games at the wrong time, because if you dare the devil so much, you will see him. Do the right thing at the right time, never be in a hurry or rush into anything. And for women looking to learn from more about breaking into tech, you can look up the Tiff in Tech and Osana Hali on YouTube. And then we have thank you. Yeah, we're so glad you girls came. You're so amazing. We really appreciate you, and we don't mind you coming again for whatever other topic we can discuss. It's really nice to have your input. And then one last thing I'll ask you to do is just tell us whether you have any like following or anything you want to promote, your business and upcoming event, whatever you have that you want to tell us about. I'm happy with that. And then at the end, you can leave it also in the comments so that it will be easier for everybody to check. So, guys, thank you for joining Success Your Way movement. Today's topic, wow, wow, wow. If you've missed it, just go back and watch. Sometimes when you watch things in bits, you miss the whole point. We might there are things that can you might have mentioned here and then. Then when you come, you're like, okay, you don't know where the topic was headed and where it's. So do watch it and then you will see. Myself, I'll say, you know what? If you love yourself and learn to forgive yourself for your past choices, if you come from self-awareness is a continuous journey. Just keep on knowing more and more about yourself. You see life in a different way. You won't believe it's you anymore at all. The things won't trigger you, people won't trigger you. You'll set boundaries with love. You'll set it out of malice that you also do not block. It's got nothing to do with that. It's really got nothing to do with that. You'll see that you do things differently, and the people you attract in your life will be different. The person in your life will be different. The way you communicate with your spouse will be different. And even if it's something like that maintenance, you're full-time mom and you're at home and you are like, oh my God, actually I could do maintenance so that we can flourish our relationship, so that we can have a better relationship. You can still do that with love and empowerment. You can go and approach them and tell them, you know what, I've learned this thing that I think can save us, can do us some good. Why don't you practice it? Why don't you try it? You'll have amazing relationship. You'll have your sanity back. You'll rediscover the self, your old self who was bubbly and happy and all that. So yeah, you come from self-discovery and always come back for more to learn from us or learn with us. We are always happy to have you. If you have questions, I'm always happy to help. Remember, I'm a life coach. I do this just for the love of it, for the love of empowering each other. For some of you, most of you know me, how I started off. I started off by, looking at myself and saying, Nicole, what's happening to you? You are more than this. You can do more. You can be more. Why this plateau, stagnation, whatever you want to call it? Why aren't you? What's happening, Nicole? Wake up. And I had to wake myself up. And for my own journey, I decided to do life coaching. I was always seeing all this life coaching thing. I've read books. You can read books. You can go to seminars. I've not done lots of seminars. You can do that, but sometimes you just need that it for you. It's not that it is different for everybody. And that it for me was life coaching. Once I started my life coaching journey, like, goodness me, and I wanted to teach and help others, because I always like sharing and learning with others. And there are people who can't afford it. So why not share it with other people? That's how this was born. It started as a different thing. But anyway, that's why we're here today. So, girls, let's empower each other and teach each other. Let us finish up by let them tell us, John, do you have anything you want to tell us lastly about yourself or anything? And then career, and then I'll manage to finish off. And guys, if they have a following, please go and support it. Kindly. We've got to support each other. Go on, Jan.
First of all, I just want to thank you for hosting this. I feel like it's very important, and like I said earlier, now we have people who we can look up to and say, this is an empowered woman. And thank you for being that empowered woman who um, goes back to empower other people. And that is very commendable. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me specifically on this platform. I really appreciate, sorry, Kenya. I really appreciate. I run a mental health facility. It's called the Sunrise Mindset. I basically um, do I help people with issues pertaining to suicide and just general mental health issues. Um, you can find me at the Sunrise Mindset. It's on IG on Instagram, and then my personal account is plen.did. Also, if you search for my name, Jenemy, you'll just find me. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. I'm really,
That's
really just
right.
grateful.
Yeah. Anything you want to add or write, just write it. If there's anything you've forgotten, just write it as a comment and stuff, and
Yeah.
people will know where to find you. And you, my darling.
Uh,
You did say you're a
um,
creator, so it will really just
yes, I'm a content creator, so you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Keria Maziora. Um, yeah, I make content. And so if my content vibes with you, feel free to follow and check it out. But yeah, it's literally just the name that's on the screen. You search that up, you will find me on YouTube and Instagram. So,
thank you, thank you. So thank you, girls. Thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate you. I'll let you guys go home. I know you're home, so home and home, whatever. I'll let you guys rest for the evening. It's late in some regions of the world. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've learned something. If there's anything you want us to revisit, come on and tell us. We're always happy to revisit. We can always talk about it again some other time. Do appreciate my girls for coming here and sharing the time with us by following them and supporting them in whatever they've said we help them with. Others, kwa Irene, asanteni kwa sasa. God bless you and bye.
Simplex music.